Hi, this is Howie from Prime Your Pump, entertaining and actionable self improvement. And today's lesson is about how to resolve conflicts in long term relationships. And remember, the rules for resolving conflicts in short term relationships are very different than the rules for resolving conflicts in long term relationships. And we're going to be talking about long term relationships. Now, remember, conflict is just part of the human condition. So we're always going to have it. And what we want to do is we want to learn how to deal with it better. And that's the purpose of this lecture. Now, there are 5 conflict resolution styles. The first style is to avoid or deny the conflict, and that's a bad approach. The second approach is giving in. That's a bad approach. The third approach is blaming the other person. It's your fault, you idiot. All right? That's a bad approach. And these first 3 approaches are very, very, very commonly done by people all around the world. The fourth approach is a compromise, and this is one we've all heard about. It doesn't create a win-win for everybody involved in the conflict, but it does create a no-lose. At least everybody's not happy, but everybody can live with it. It's a compromise. And you try it out for a period of time, and if it works, great. If it doesn't, you have to go back and revisit it. But the fifth conflict resolution style for long-term relationships you've probably never heard of, and that's really what I want to focus on today. All right? And that is called an integrative solution. And what I want to talk about is integrative solutions, okay, depend on equality, taking other people's points of view into account, being open and honest, building trust. And if you say, well, this long-term relationship I have shows none of those characteristics, maybe that's not such a good long-term relationship. But let me give you an example of a short-term, okay, relationship and how an integrative solution would not apply. Buying a used car. Okay, it's a one-off relationship. Both sides are just trying to win. They don't care whether they're being honest. They don't care whether they're treating you with respect and equally. So that's a bad example. That's an entirely different type of solution set. So what I want to go through now are the 5 steps for actually resolving conflicts in long-term relationships. And the first step is that the people involved in the conflict, okay, have to view each other as equals. Now, so I think I probably have to rule out parents and children. So this is really adult to adult. This applies in the other situation, but it's a much more complex application, and it's really out of my area of expertise. I'm going to stick with adult to adult. So, for example, suppose a couple is having their house renovated, all right, and and there's workmen in the other side of the house. And the husband comes home from lunch and he decides he wants to have a quick nooner. All right. But his wife says, no, there's workmen in the house. I'm embarrassed. I don't want to do it. But he kind of badgers her into doing it. All right. So she agrees to it. And this is not treating your wife like an equal. All right. So that's not good. So the first step is to make sure you treat your partner, whoever it is, like an equal, that you listen to them, etc. The second step is to identify the points of view of all of the people involved that are equal. So with the nooner example, okay, what you have to understand is that your wife doesn't want to do it because she's embarrassed because there's other people around in the house, okay? And maybe she's a noisy person doing the sex act and, she just doesn't want anybody to hear it. Well, you have to respect that point of view. So maybe you have to say, well, we'll do it when I get home tonight at work and the workmen are gone. All right. The third step is to develop an alternative, okay, solution for the conflict that results in actually a win-win. So now what you do is you sit down with your wife and you come up with some alternative solutions for that on-the-moment nooner, okay, during the 6-month renovation, because you both know that you always like to have had nooners and you still like it, but your wife is a little embarrassed. So what are some alternatives? Well, you do have a soundproof attic, So you could go with that, or you could do it in the shed behind the house, or while the workmen are in the house working, you could sneak out into the truck and do it, I suppose, if you want to add a little flavor and risk to it all. Okay. The fourth step, okay, is all participants in the win-win solution, okay, review it and pick the best step. So here we decide the best step is to move a mattress up into the soundproof attic and moan away. All right. The fifth step is to try it out for a limited period of time. So you proceed to go up to the attic, you try it out, and you discover that's where the workmen keep their tools. So somebody walks in on you. So the next time, you know, you're going to try and do it in their truck. You're going to switch your solution set. So in terms of use it or lose it, okay, you simply follow the 5-step method that we just talked about. And when do you use it? Whenever you find yourself in a conflict with someone you're in a long-term relationship with. And what do you think? Well, why don't you send us some of your comments when you think it's appropriate to use this 5-step model to resolve conflicts in a long-term relationship. And remember, okay, to read our other blog posts, and if you like them, to click like, and to look at our weekly newsletter. And until next week, remember, prime your pump.